Welcome to another edition of Family Life with Mama Rita. I've missed you guys. I hope you have also missed me. It's been wonderful. Royal Ladies 30th anniversary camp 2024 was a blast. It was powerful. Everyone that made it possible, God bless you. And then U.S. Convention of Saints was powerful. Reverend Ima and Mama Mina, thank you so much for taking very good care of us. We really enjoyed our stay in the U.S. Thank you for making U.S. a home for us. I am back into this heat, and Chief Apes speaking Ghana English. Today you will speak American English, but I want to welcome each one of you. We want to start a new topic: long distance relationships. People keep asking questions about long distance. How does it work? What do I do? Would it work? All that kind of questions. And I promise we were going to treat a whole series on long distance relationships. And today we will do exactly that. But I hope you've taken good care of yourself and things are moving well with you. Well, long distance relationship, what is it? A long distance relationship, in short, LDR, or long distance romantic relationship, is an intimate relationship between partners who are geographically separated from one another. So number one, it's a romantic relationship and partners are separated from one another geographically. In other words, one person is in America, one person is in Ghana. Or one person is in the north, one person is in Accra. I don't know which of them you want. Partners in LDR face geographic separation and lack of face-to-face contact. And this is what we'll be doing today and in the coming weeks. Number one, advantages of long-distance relationships. Yes, there are advantages. You heard me right. So, advantages of long-distance relationships. Disadvantages of LDRs, and that is what you are used to. What you don't know is that there are advantages. Number three, how to make a long-distance relationship work. And then things you can do together. Though you are separated geographically, you can still do things together. And when we talk about long-distance relationship, I know a lot of people only look at romantic relationship like I defined, but there are also long-distance relationships when it comes to parents and children. And when it comes to parents and children, there are also advantages and there are also disadvantages. When we were in school, we used to really envy those whose parents were outside the country. Hey, you could see their chobots, things we had never seen in Ghana in those days. Proper cereals, cornflakes. Now when we see cornflakes, we don't look at it. Horlicks, Ovaltine. I mean, we used to envy them. So, for children who are separated from their parents, what happens is that they benefit economically because of the remittances the parents send. They get good clothes, good shoes. By the time school reopens, hey, you should see their school shoes. It's different from ours. We used to buy ours in Mokola. They will go to Marks and Spencer. Hey, my God. We hadn't been there, but we knew the name. You should even see their undies. You should see their braziers. You should see their nighties and their pajamas. I mean, you could see a difference between yours and theirs. But at the time, what we didn't know is that they suffered emotionally from the long or the short-term separation. Well, some people had the opportunity to go for summer holidays and visit their parents and come back. But for others, they didn't have the documents, they didn't have the visas to travel. So their parents were there. For some of them, the parents couldn't even come down because of documentation. And for years, some of them hadn't seen their parents or one parent. Sometimes the father could be here and the mother could be there, or the mother is here, the father is there. So they suffered emotionally. You can see that things were not okay with them. And they were the ones who were always, or they always had appointments with school counselors. I mean, they always had something to discuss with school counselors. And sometimes the migration of the parents gave them, some form of psychological, defects. And for some of them, what happened was that it either affected their academic work or affected their behaviors. In some rare cases, some of the children had to even drop out of school. I met a lady recently in New York, and she was sharing her story with me. She's now old, she's married, but she was sharing a story of what she went through as a child. And according to her, everybody found her a privileged child. She had the best, she wore the best of clothes, she took the best of food to school. I mean, everything came from outside. But inwardly, she was suffering, she was going through emotions. And sometimes within a year, she would have to stay with 3 different aunties and uncles. Today she's here, another time she's there. I mean, at a time she had to go to the boarding school. But even in the boarding school, when school vacated, she had to come home. And every term, her mother had to look for a new person, either a new auntie, a new uncle, a new family friend. And sometimes she could feel maltreatment. And when she told her mom would say, oh, they are doing you a favor. They are doing you a favor by, keeping you. They are doing you a favor by taking care of you. So she couldn't even tell her mom exactly what she was going through. At one point, she was even abused. She was raped. And nobody believed her story. So in everything, there are advantages and disadvantages. The advantages being that, well, the parents sent money home for fees and they never lacked. But the disadvantages were that they missed their parents and they went through emotional problems. Now we want to look, so as I talk, if you have an experience as a child, you can send your experiences. If you have questions, you can send in your questions. And then as a husband or as a wife who is separated from your spouse, you can also send in your questions and we will answer them. So I want you to know that in everything there are pros and cons. There are advantages and disadvantages. So in long distance relationships, yes, there are advantages and there are disadvantages. As a child, like I said, we used to envy those whose parents were outside, but little did we know that they were also going through problems that we who lived with our parents never went through. So I want us to look at the advantages of LDR, and then maybe next week we will look at the disadvantages, and then we'll come on board with couples who went through LDR and find out how they were able to cope. So number one advantage, and I was so surprised, and I'm going to use myself as a case study. And I didn't know how much I went through until I started preparing for this topic. You know, memories kept coming to me. At a point, my husband left me for greener pastures. He traveled to the Netherlands. I was left with 2 children, and my darling, it wasn't easy. But let's talk about the good side first, the advantages. So number one, you have the freedom to pursue your personal dreams and to learn new hobbies. You have the freedom to pursue personal dreams and learn new hobbies. What happens is that when you are with your spouse, you are so engrossed with a relationship. You take each other's, attention and everything, such that you want the relationship you want to build the relationship that you forget about your own areas in your life. So what distant relationship does is that it helps you to reflect and focus on other areas of your life. It is very, very easy for partners to neglect things that matter to them, number one, and number two, things that they love. When they are together, it is very, very easy for partners to neglect it. So when you have the opportunity and one person is away on a long distance relationship, you take advantage and do or achieve your dreams. For instance, if you have academic goals, if you have career development, if you have business growth, you need to pursue it. It's an opportunity. My darling, if your husband or your wife leaves you for a while, by the time he comes back or she comes back, you should have upgraded yourself. But the problem, and maybe we'll look at it when we come to the disadvantages, when your spouse leaves you with tiny children like my husband did to me, 3 years, was it 3 years? Yes, 3 years and 1 year. 3 years and 1 year. I couldn't have left them to go to school or to pursue a career. I couldn't have done. But what I did was that I started something I think I could do and learn a new hobby. All through my teenage and then, my early 20s, when I became born again, what I did was I used to gather children in my neighborhood, and I used to teach them what we call Sunday school in this part of the world. That is children's church or children's service. I used to do it as a way of winning souls, and I'll use my pocket money to buy them sweets, buy them biscuits, buy them drinks. And because I used to provide sweets and biscuits, and every Saturday my house was full with children in my neighborhood. Sometimes I could get as many as 100, 120, 150 children in my house. But well, when I got married, I stopped it. Then when my husband traveled, I knew that it was an opportunity to pursue that gift I felt I had. So in the church we used to belong to, then I was the pastor's wife. But the church wasn't a church we founded. It was somebody's church, and then we were pastoring. So when he left, I was no longer the pastor's wife or the first lady or the Osofo Mame. So what I did was I began to teach the children. And that is when I knew that I had a gift for children. My darling, I could easily establish a school. I really wanted to, but we'll see what happens. So I started teaching the children, and I would go on trips with them. Sometimes I would go with them to the airport, just to see the airport, because some of the children outside church and outside their homes and outside their schools didn't know anywhere else. So I would take them for trips, and I used to organize retreats for them. And by the time, and I was the sole teacher at the time, by the time I finished the retreat with them, every child would have been born again. Every child would have received the Holy Ghost baptism and would be speaking in tongues. 6-year-olds, 7-year-olds, 8 years, 9-year-olds would be prophesying and seeing visions. My darling, if my husband hadn't traveled and I hadn't gone through long distance relationship, I wouldn't have known that I could build on this kind of gift or hobby that I have, or I had. When we started Royal House Chapel, I had to bring in that training I had. So I became the first Sunday school teacher in Royal House Chapel. Today, I trained so many Sunday school teachers that I don't need to be a Sunday school teacher anymore. But if for any reason, I want the Sunday school teachers in Royal House Chapel to know, once a teacher, always a teacher. Once a Sunday school teacher, always a Sunday school teacher. So if for any reason we are short of Sunday school teachers, I'm always ready to go back to my hobby of teaching children. Number 2 advantage. It is a test for faithfulness. Yes, you heard me, for faithfulness. When partners are together, partners are so committed and faithful to their spouses and to their partners when they are living very close. The moment they start living apart, one person is in Accra, the other person is in Kaswaye, 45 minutes, then they think that it's an opportunity to have extramarital affair. So what distance relationship does, long distance relationship, that is an opportunity, especially during courtship. Open your eyes, shine your eyes. It's an opportunity to know whether the lady will be faithful to you or whether the gentleman will be faithful to you. Yes, sometimes they can hide it, but they can't hide it forever. If you put your ears on the ground, you will hear it. Ghana is a small place. Wherever you are, it's a small place. You would hear gossips. So being apart is an opportunity to test your faithfulness, whether you can be faithful to each other. And this is why I salute myself and I salute my husband. For 2 years we were apart. My darling, 2 years, 2 years. And it's not like today long distance relationship where there's technology. In those days, there were no there were no mobile phones, no cell phones, even home phones. Were not that common. Our whole neighborhood, there was just one person who had a telephone, and the telephone was locked up in the man's bedroom. You couldn't just go making calls. I mean, it wasn't easy. In those days, if my husband called me for even 3 minutes, he would have to pay so much on international call. So our distance tested our faithfulness, and for 2 years, my darling, I was beautiful in those days. So I was in my late 20s, very beautiful, very young. I wasn't as fat as I am now. I was slim. My color, my guitar shape. Men came away, but I stood and I waited for my husband for 2 years. And he did the same thing in the Netherlands. He was seeing different kinds of women. The white skin, the brown skin, the dark skin, people from different nationalities. And he said he would wait until we see each other. Honey, I love you, and God bless you for passing the test of faithfulness. If you are listening to me and you are in a long distance relationship, I want you to know that you will go through that test. And it's an advantage to know whether your partner is faithful or not. And like I said, for those of you who are courting, it's an opportunity to know whether that guy will be faithful to you. And don't tell yourself, oh, he did it only once. Once he can do it once, he can do it a second time. He can do it a third time. He can do it a fourth time. Number 3. Number 3 and number 2, I want you to know that trust in a long distance relationship is very important and is very essential. Number 3, you will appreciate your partner the more. You will appreciate your partner the more. Long distance relationships can help you appreciate your partner more than the face-to-face one. My darling, the natural one, the face-to-face one, when you are together, sometimes you tend to take advantage of each other. You don't tend to appreciate the things your partner does for you. But when you are apart, your partner travels and he is not there and she's not there. That is when you know that you were actually staying with an angel. That is when you know that God gave him to you as a gift, or gave him to you as a gift. When you are separated, my darling, the relationship can blossom further as you become more understanding and you look at the positive aspects of your partner a little more. I would say that when my husband was here, we took advantage of each other. No, but then when he traveled, he appreciated me more, and I also appreciated him more. My husband is very, very handy. I don't know if I've said it here, but I've shared it in church so many times, that when I'm pregnant and when I have babies, the first 3 months of when I have a baby, I don't do anything. First 3 months of when I get pregnant, I don't do anything. My husband will clean, he will cook, he will wash. I mean, he will do everything. He will do everything. When we had our first child, had to do was to dress up, wake up, have my bath, dress up, and go to work. My husband will be the one to prepare our daughter for school, prepare breakfast, prepare her snack and lunch for school, and drive her to school. At the end of school, he will be the one to pick her up whilst I was still working. Come home, take her through her homework. And sometimes when it's a balancing day, oh my God, balancing day, I used to close so late. Those days there were no computers, everything was manual. Bankers today, things are easy for you. Oh my God. When we started banking, there were even no counting machines. And we had to count like this. At the end of the day, you balance manually. At the end of the month, we balance manually. Those were the days where end of the month we used to close 12 midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Then here I was. My husband leaves me, travels to the Netherlands, and I was all alone with 2 children. That is when I knew God had blessed me with an angel. Number 1, I had to wake up, bathe the children, dress them up, prepare breakfast. Sometimes they had to have their breakfast in the car, because if we were late 5 minutes, the kind of traffic on the Accra High Street was terrible. We had to leave home by 6:55. If we made a mistake and we left home at 7, we would be in trouble. And that is the situation I found myself in. I couldn't even dress up. My makeup bag was always in my car. My comb was always in my head, waiting for me to drop the children, and then now I can dress up. Sometimes I got to the office late. By the time I get to the office, hey, customers have lined up in front of me, waiting to withdraw money. And the day I get to work late, then I must know that that day I would also leave work late. Why? Because I will be so much under pressure, stress, that I won't balance for the day. And I'm also thinking about how to pick my children from school. When we come to the disadvantages, maybe I will talk about it. So it made me appreciate him the more. When we were coming back, I used to pick them up 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Sometimes 7 p.m. I was now picking them up from school. And guess what? We'll be doing homework in the car. Because by the time we get home, they are so tired, they don't have the energy to stay up and do homework. If I make the mistake and I say we are doing homework in the morning, we'll be late. So we have to do homework in the car before we get home. My darling, I appreciated my husband. And I kept saying, if he was around, I won't be going through all the things I went through. And I believe he also appreciated me for the kind of things I used to do for him when he was around. So long distance relationship helps you to appreciate each other the more. Maybe I'll do the next one and we will go on the short commercial break. Number 1, it helps you to define true love. When you are apart, you want to find out. You want to search into your heart and into yourself. Do I really love the guy? Do I really love the lady? It helps you to define true love. Sometimes when you are together, you are seeing each other, either you feel that you really love him or her, or you think that I don't love him or her enough. But when you are apart and you are missing each other, and you are missing the communication, and you are missing everything, then you want to find out whether I really love him or whether I really love her. And sometimes the break, from face to face, or from the natural kind of relationship where you are together, you are in each other's face, you are in your path, you are seeing each other all the time. Sometimes either you think that, oh, maybe I made a mistake, or maybe I like him or I love him too much because of the kind of things he or she is doing for me. But when you are apart, my darling, you can now define what love is. Do I really love him? Do I really love her? Did I make a mistake? Or I heard right? It was when my husband actually traveled that I knew he was my soulmate. It was when he traveled that I knew I chose right. It was when he traveled that I knew I had right. It was when he traveled that I knew I didn't make a mistake. Sometimes the little quarrels here and there makes you think that, oh, maybe. But when we were not together, I assessed myself very well, and I defined if I really truly loved him. And I believe that he did the same. That is why for 2 years, he didn't look at any woman. No woman attracted him. He waited for me for 2 years until we came back together. We will go on a short commercial break and we'll be back. Please let your questions flow and let your contributions flow. If you have an experience, let us know. Either an experience as a child, or an experience as a wife, or an experience as a husband, or you have any questions pertaining to long distance relationship. Maybe you are not married like I was when my husband traveled, but you are courting. Let us know your experience. Or you are married, but he left you with no children, and you are not coping at all. Let us know. We will go on a short commercial break, and we'll be back.
The World Movers Generation, in partnership with Roverman Productions, presents an original Able White play, Dubai or No Sex.
Until I see tickets for our trip to Dubai, I refuse to let you touch me. Because this body, my dear, does not belong to a loser. Oh, yes. And so I'm moving you from the bedroom to the guest room until I see tickets to Dubai.
Well, I don't mind moving into the guest room. After all, how much sex do you give me?
Get ready for an unforgettable evening of drama, comedy, and bliss.
Barnabas, I don't deny you sex.
Huh, you don't? Okay. This quarter alone, I've asked for sex. Literally begged. 57 times. Success rate, 0. Your excuses. I just did a new hairstyle. I don't want to mess it up. 15 times. Oh, Barnabas, I have a terrible migraine. 10 times. NSPP just declared a fast. I'm on the mountain 14 times. Just this morning, I asked you for sex, and you tell me the reason for the season is resurrection, not erection.
Barnabas!
Ajua.
Grab your whole crew to the Oil Dome or Bechebi Lamte Interchange on the Saturday, 17th August 2024, 5 p.m. prompt. Tickets are going for a cool 50 Ghana cedis at the Ainfie reception. Don't miss out on this spectacular experience as we prepare for Movers and Shakers Conference 2024. Save the date, secure your tickets, and get ready for a showdown. World Movers Generation presents Movers and Shakers Conference 2024. Join the train of young people from all across the nations as we experience God's power, dive into the Word, and receive empowerment for the next phases of our lives at WMG Camp. Dates: Thursday 29th August to Sunday the 1st of September 2024. Venue: City of Shiloh. Theme: Don't Mess Up With Me. 1 Samuel chapter 17 verse 51. It's going to be nothing short of a transforming experience with our speakers, Dr. Eben Mensa Atipo, Reverend Paul Amwako, and the hosts, Apostle General and Mama Retta. Get all the updates on our socials at Sam Crunchy Ankara on Facebook and Instagram, and at Sam Crunchy on X. You can also catch the services live on YouTube at Powerline TV and on satellite television, Powerline TV. WMG Camp 2024. Don't mess up with me.
Yeah, we be the movers. We be the shakers. Radical Christians. You know go be famous. Yeah, we go hard.
Hi, Royal Ladies. Our 30th anniversary camp meeting was a bash. I mean, it was something else. I am still swimming in the anointing, swimming in the miracles, swimming in the testimonies. Every program we've had this year, right from our executive conference through the traditional Deba, prayer-thon, everything has been wonderful. And our next program is giving back to the society. My darling, on the 10th of August, make a date with me. We want to announce ourselves big time to the market women in Kaneshie and all around there. What are we going to do? Number one, we are going for a clean-up exercise, a clean-up campaign. We are going to clean up our environment at the Kaneshie market. And then we're also taking to them aprons and bowls and, I mean, whatever we can do. I want every royal lady, especially those at the Oil Dome, to be a part of it. On the 10th of August at 7 a.m., we are all meeting at Ainfie and we are walking to Kaneshie Market. Come in your royal ladies t-shirts, with your jeans, with your shorts, with your skirts. My darling, we are giving back to society. We want to make sure that all around us, people know about Royal House Chapel and they know about Jesus. Please, whatever you can do, if you want to come with brooms, you want to come with brushes, you want to come with soaps, whatever you can come with. And if you have anything we can give out, bowls, anything, we can give out to the market women, Kaneshie market, and all around the market. We will love it. Make a date with me on the 10th of August, 7 a.m. at Ainfie, and God will bless you. Remember, until December, our 30th anniversary is not done yet. God bless you. Welcome back to Family Life with Mama Rita. If you are just joining me today, we are treating long distance relationships. And today, because of work, because of school, because of greener pastures, we have so many long distance relationships. relationships. I'm married and I want to go and do my master's. So I have to leave you behind. We don't have the resources for 2 tickets, or you couldn't get a visa, or you are working, you can't resign because you have a good job. We are courting. I met you online. Or we are courting. I'm in some parts of the nation, you are in some part of the nation. I am in New York, you are in Minnesota. I mean, we are having a lot of such relationships of late. And we are looking at how to build such relationships. Does it work? Yes, it can work if you want it to work. So today we are looking at the advantages of long distance relationships. Sometimes we refuse to look at the disadvantages. We are only looking at we refuse to look at the advantages. We are only looking at the disadvantages. And we think that, oh, long distance relationships are not good. But I want you to know that there are some forms of advantages of long distance relationships. And we looked at freedom to pursue your dreams. I know people who have gone back to school because their partners were not here. Either they did their first degrees, or they did their second degrees, or they did their professional courses, you know, or they established a business or something, or they started a hobby. They started some trading, they started some gardening, they started sewing, they started doing makeup-ing. I mean, so many people have the opportunity to do things when their spouses are not around. And I shared my story and my testimony of how I took up teaching children, and it worked out so well for me. Today, when it comes to teaching children, my darling, I can start a whole school. 2, as a test of faithfulness. You want to test your faithfulness. Whilst you are apart, how faithful are you going to be to one another? Are you going to sleep around because your partner is not there? Are you going to sleep around because you couldn't stay pure or you couldn't wait? I know someone who was in a relationship. They were actually married traditionally. The gentleman was here and the lady was there. And, you know, things were okay. The guy was here but sending the lady money abroad. Change cedis, I'm telling you. Change cedis into dollars. Send money. They had tried the first time. For a visa, it didn't work. They tried the second time, it didn't work. They tried the third time, it didn't work. The lady also didn't have her documents to come down. You won't believe it. Just when the man got his visa to travel out of the country, the lady got pregnant. My darling, it is a test of faithfulness. And number 3, it is an opportunity to appreciate your partner the more. Sometimes when we are together, we take each person for granted. You know, you are seeing the person every time. You see the person sleeping and snoring. You see the person waking up without makeup. And you think that that is all to life. But when you are not together, that is when you appreciate what the person means in your life. And then we also said it is an opportunity to define your true love. Do you really love him? Do you really love her? or because you are together and the kind of things you are getting and the things he's doing for you and the things she's doing for you, that is why you think that you love him, or because of the petty quarrels you think that you don't love each other enough. When you are not together, then you can actually define your true love for each other. And especially for those who are courting and you are not together, it is an opportunity to assess each other and to know whether you really love each other. I have guests today, but before I introduce my guests, or I let you know my guests today, on Saturday, coming Saturday, and I have said it so many times, Royal Ladies, the women's wing of Royal House Chapel, we are celebrating 30 years. And throughout the year, we've been doing so many powerful programs. We did prayer-a-thon, where we prayed for 30 hours. We did a traditional deba, where we displayed where we were coming from hitherto as Christians and as believers. We had always looked at our traditions as satanic and as devilish and all that, but we displayed our traditions and our culture, and it was so beautiful. And then we also had our 30th anniversary camp meeting, and it was something else. I had over 350 international guests coming from UK, guests coming from America, both the US and Canada. We had guests coming from UK and Europe. We had guests coming from South Africa and other parts of the world. And everybody that traveled from far and near to Royal Ladies Camp meeting, I said, I want to say that God bless you and thank you. And I pray a divine shift in your life. Coming Saturday, we want to still celebrate our 30th anniversary. We are not done with our 30th anniversary yet. The whole year, every day, every minute, every second is 30 years for us. And coming Saturday, all the women of Royal House Chapel are going to the Carnation Market. For those of you international, Carnation Market is very close to the Oil Dome, the headquarters of Royal House Chapel. It's actually a walk to the place. And what we want to do is that we want to give back to our community, give back to our society. We want to go to the market and do a cleanup exercise, and it's starting at 6 a.m. So we are all gathering here at Ahimfie at 5:30 a.m. and we walk or we dance to Carnation Market. We are, number one, going to clean up the market, make sure that there's sanity in the market, make sure that the market is looking clean and our vegetables and our fruits are looking clean before they come into our homes. And as part of the celebration for that day, we also want to take Christ to them. We are taking Christ to them. We are taking deliverance and healing to them. As we sweep the market, we are sweeping sicknesses out of the market. We are sweeping curses out of the market. And we are praying healing into their lives. We are praying deliverance into their lives. We are sweeping poverty out of their lives. That when they go and they sell, may they make profits. May they have enough money to take care of their children and to educate their children. And we have surprises for the market women on Saturday. Make a date with me coming Saturday, the 9th of August. Coming Saturday, the 9th of August. at 5:30 a.m. We are all gathering here and we are walking to Kaneshi Market to do the cleanup exercise. And on that same day, the 9th of August at 9 a.m., we are having a children's retreat. Children from the ages of 6 to age 13 or 14. We are gathering here for a children's retreat. We couldn't have our usual camp meeting since COVID. We haven't had camp meeting for the children, but at least we'll be having a day's retreat. And as usual, we are having the day's retreat on Saturday. Please come with your children. It starts at 9 and will be done by 4 p.m. in the afternoon. I have a special guest here. They are no strangers to family life. Reverend Mrs. Patrick Yorson. They've been here severally. I mean, we know them so well. They are one of my best counselors. I mean, now they do long distance counseling where one person is outside the country and the other person is here, or one person is in UK, the other person is in America, or one person is in Europe, the other, I mean, we do that counseling through Skype or through Facebook, and they are very good when it comes to long distance counseling. Reverend and Reverend Mrs. I miss you.
We miss you too, Mama.
You haven't been here for how long?
More than 6 months.
More than 6 months. Yeah. We miss you. And my cherished audience also miss you. Yeah. And we will see my co-host very soon. He also has something to tell you about a camp meeting that is coming up. I will leave him to talk about it first before I go to it. So you are welcome.
Thank you, Mom.
And I want you to know the one reason why they qualify to be here is that they've gone through long distance relationship. When they were courting, Mama Rosemond was in the UK and Reverend Patrick was here. How they were able to make it grow their relationship, went through all the advantages, and today they've been married, is it 22 years?
23.
23 this year?
Yeah.
So it's 3 years already since we celebrated 20 years?
Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I can't believe time flies.
Time flies.
So they were here 3 years ago to celebrate 20 years, and we celebrated them here, if you remember. Their children came to give testimonies about them and to sing. I mean, it was such a lovely and a serene night that day, romantic night that day. I don't know when we can do it again. Whether 25 years, I don't know. But they were apart for how many years?
3 years.
3 years.
And we got married, and we went for another 1 year before I came back.
Wow. So about 4 years.
Yes.
So now tell us, how did you go through long distance relationship during courtship, and then when you got married, the 1 year apart? What are some? We will have an opportunity to talk about the disadvantages, or the quarrels, and when she didn't want to come to Ghana, and eventually you had to pull her down. You got married. We will talk about all that. But so far, how was it like?
Start.
How did you end up in a long distance relationship?
So we started at school. We met at school.
Okay.
And we were both studying the ACCA professional course.
Okay.
More often than not, people continue to the UK to finish up. So our plan was that we will go to the UK to finish up our qualification and then, continue our life there. She was able to get the visa. I wasn't able to get the visa. So she
Okay.
was there and then I was
Wow.
here. But then we had made a commitment to be in a love relationship for the rest of our lives. And so that's how we ended up being apart. And we put in the mechanisms and took the steps that were required by the grace of God and counsel from church elders as well. We sustained the relationship, went through all the ups and downs, and then eventually when the time came, she came down, we got married. I had still not gotten the UK visa, so she went back with a plan that I'll still pursue the visa and join her. But after a while, I gave up on pursuing the visa because I'd been bounced too many times. I was like, no more, I'm not going to that embassy again.
Wow.
So, yeah.
You were bound so many times.
Oh, mommy.
I can't believe today you are traveling like
Yeah.
no man's business.
Yeah.
My darling, if you've been bound so many times, don't worry. It's a matter of time. Today, Reverend Patrick travels like he's going to Sawum. He just came back from a trip. My darling, it's a matter of time. Relax. Your time will come.
Yeah.
So now tell me, within the 3 years when you were apart, during the courtship time,
Yeah.
did you get the opportunity to come home?
No, I didn't.
3 years.
Yeah.
So you didn't see each other for 3 years.
Yeah.
So mine is even better, except that
You were married then.
I was married and
Yeah.
you were not married.
Yeah.
But 3 years you were not seeing each other.
No.
Wow.
Yeah.
How come you never gave up?
So as I was saying, we had made a commitment.
Okay.
And if you know the story already, I was convinced beyond every shadow of doubt that I'm spending the rest of my life with this woman. And so I put structures in place to keep the relationship afresh. For example, being a finance person, I had a budget for phone calls.
Wow.
Even though in those days was quite expensive.
In those days was very.
Every
Then
week-
were there mobile phones,
No, there were, but it was not common.
Mobile phones, right?
but not common.
Not common. In fact, those were the yam days, even if there was a mobile
Those
phone.
were the yam days.
Yeah.
You were fortunate.
Yeah.
My time there were no mobile. Hey.
But I didn't have a mobile phone, so
You didn't have, so it was just like mine.
yeah. So I didn't have a mobile phone, so I had budgeted to make, weekly phone calls to maintain the relationship. So every week I will make a call. Sometimes 2 times, sometimes 3 times. And I had, made I cut a portion of my salary for that purpose because my argument was that if she was here, we'll be going out frequently. And so if we are not doing that, I'll be buying her gifts here and there.
That's right.
So let me put that money aside to nurture the relationship.
Wow.
Or additionally, even though I was in Ghana, I was planning surprises for her through my friends and
Who were there.
On her birthday, I will arrange some kind of
So
surprise.
these are some of the things we'll talk about when
for her.
it comes to how do you work the relationship out.
So we kept that. Then
Wow.
finally, maybe the other thing I did was I stayed in church.
You stayed in church.
I stayed in church. Work, church, home. I didn't have anything else or school. Work, church, home. I kept myself in good company because human as I am, if I was running around with my friends
That's
who
right.
were courting with their girlfriends and boyfriends, I'll see things, I'll be enticed here and there, so I discouraged myself from falling into more of that. Yeah.
So, listening to my talk on long distance relationship and the advantages, I didn't finish to. We will finish next week. What do you think could be some of the advantages for you through the long distance relationship?
Okay, so for me, it was
Or it was disadvantages all through?
No. It was quite easy because, let me say, we had clearly.
Okay.
We had a very clear
Conviction.
Okay.
I remember we went for a retreat. I think the first ever Covenant family retreat at Elsky.
That's right.
And a guest pastor came.
Okay.
And whilst praying for him, he said, your wife is in this service. But then we're just caught.
Wow.
And I was getting ready to go. So he called me out, prayed for us, and then even prophesied about our children that we'll have all girls. Why do you have all girls? Why don't you have all girls? So we left, we separated with that sure word. And I believe that if God says it is, then it is. So it doesn't matter what we went through.
That's right.
I was ready to go according to what God has planned for me. So whatever happened, we will fight, we will argue. But if this is what God has for me, God, you said this is it too, so make it work. So the advantage is that I got to know him better.
I like that.
I got to know him better because we were facing challenges.
Yeah.
And so I was able to tell that, okay, this is how the man is.
That's right.
This is what he can tolerate. This is what he cannot tolerate. So I got to know him better. Because if I was here, of course, there are times that you pretend.
That's right.
But if he's not there, you live your life, he asks you, you say it, and he gets angry. Oh, he doesn't like this. So I got to know him better. So coming down to dwell with him, we had already ironed out some of the differences.
Wow.
That is one big advantage I had.
My darling, so you are listening to Mama Rosemont. It was an opportunity to know him better. My darling, you don't only know people when you meet them face to face. You can know people through distance relationship. When they talk, you know whether they are temperamental or they are not temperamental, whether they are kind or they are not kind, whether they are abusive or they are not abusive, verbally abusive. Even the anger, you can tell when the anger gets to a point, you can tell that this one, if it wasn't a long distance one and I was right in front of him, he would hit me. I mean, you don't need face to face to be able to tell who somebody is. So Mama Rosemont got to know Reverend Patrick more. She got to know him better. So there's no excuse that because we were in a distant relationship, I didn't know him very well, I didn't know her very well. There's nothing like that. So Reverend Patrick, what are some of the advantages you think that you had in the long distance relationship?
For me, I guess that I built my Christian life much, much, much better because I spent all of my free time in church. You know, I remember one occasion I came for Friday miracle service, and when they finished, there was all night. I stayed.
You stayed because there was nobody to take away your attention and let's go here.
Yeah, I came for miracle service and did all night and went home.
You hadn't planned for it before you.
No. So I spent, and basically I disciplined myself. I learned the discipline of sticking to your routine, because if you step out of your routine, then you fall into some kind of trouble. So for me, I guess today, when she traveled for some time and somebody was speaking to her in the US, it was a Saturday, and he says, oh, by now he's not at home, so we'll call him, he's at home. And truly, when the person called, I was at home. You know, because I established my routine and built my life, you know, around the fact that my wife is absent. I do not want to fall into temptation. So establish a routine that will keep you out of trouble. Focus on building your life with her, and I built that structure, and it is the same structure I am following today. You know, with a lot of the travel she's doing currently, I just follow the same structure.
I have a question coming.
Yeah.
Please let your questions flow. You know how to send your questions. Our number is on the screen. Look on the screen and send your questions the way you do it all the time. How to build your relationship, are you going through some kind of problems? We are not done yet, but I believe that by the time we are done, all your questions will be answered. If there's anything you want to share with us, please do. We are ready to listen to you. I guess there are some questions coming in. My co-host is here.
Yep.
Please, let me know why you are in the kind of t-shirt you are in. Yes.
Well, Bobby, thank you so much. Thank you so much. We missed you. And viewers also miss you across all our platforms. On Sam Crunchy Ankara Facebook, on Mama Rita Facebook, on Powerline TV, YouTube, and your favorite digital channel. I know you are enjoying the comeback to today's live session with Mama Rita. And Mommy, we have a lot of questions coming through. But before that, as you can see, I am rocking my WMG t-shirt, the World Movers Generation t-shirt, to announce the upcoming grand gathering and mammoth convocation of the young men and women who are taking over this country and getting ready for leadership. It is the WMG Camp, Movers and Shakers Conference 2024. Don't mess up with me is the theme. Happening from August 29 to September 1 at the city of Shiloh. You should see what the Lord has used Mama Rita to do at the city of Shiloh. Just come and experience the atmosphere. You are never going to be the same. Of course, the host is Apostle General himself and Mama Rita, and we have other seasoned speakers. Reverend Amwako is going to be there. Dr. Reverend Paul Amwako is going to be there. Dr. Eben Mensa Atipo is going to be there. And other sons and daughters of the Apostle General are going to be a blessing. So if you haven't registered, please use the link www.royalhousechapel.org/WMG. www.royalhousechapel.org/WMG, or scan the code, the GR code that is on your screen or on the platforms, and you can register, book a place. It's a fully residential camp. However, if you check and the slots are full, we basically have less than 100 slots available now. If they are full, there are other hostels and hotels around. As earnestly as you're expecting the Lord to bless you, you can engage one of those and then shuffle in and out. You may want to even sleep in your car because you are desperate to encounter God. As part of our preparation towards the camp, on the 17th, in the Oil Dome, we call it the Drive for Momentum. Well, Royal House Chapel, the World Movers is bringing Roverman Productions. Uncle Ebo White is staging a full play for the entire church. It's a family affair. So procure a ticket, 50 cedis only, for you, your wife, your children, your young men, young women in the house. I can see 4 gentlemen watching me right now. You have proposed to women, they've bounced you left, right, center. Listen, just get a ticket. Invite them to the place. Dubai or no sex. After the show, I know you'll not walk home single as you came. So please, it's a build up to the WMG camp. 17th of August, it's a Saturday at the Oil Dome, Dubai or no sex, full Roverman production, Uncle Ebo White's play. You don't want to miss it.
Before the questions,
yes,
I want you to know that when you go to the National Theatre to watch Uncle Ebo, I go there all the time with my family to watch. When you go there, it's 200 per ticket.
Yeah.
By Royal House Chapel, because this is a students program. Uncle Ebo is charging 50 Ghana cedis. If I were you, I would take advantage, purchase a ticket myself and my courting partner. My darling, you haven't gone out in how many years? You are a husband. You've never gone out since you married 10 years ago with your wife. You've never gone out.
The only
with
time
your
you
children.
go out is the lorry station. Don't do that.
You only go out to the lorry station.
When they are going out.
And some people, they go out, they come and watch communion cups. And that's all they do. They do. Please, I haven't mentioned any name. They are courting, they come to church. Come and watch communion cups and go. Please take advantage, buy a ticket for just 50 Ghana cedis, Dubai or no sex. Very, very lovely play. My darling, you will laugh till you drop. You need to add 50 more years to your years. You are getting older than your years because your life is too rigid. Home, church, work. Please make a date with us and come and watch Uncle Lego.
If you're a boss in an office, please be nice to your people. Procure a ticket, invite them, come and share fellowship as part of team bonding. 50 cedis per head, and you are going to enjoy. The following day, which is the 18th of August, we have the Rep Your Jersey Sunday. And that day, when the service closes, we are going to have a full watch party, a football watch party. It's a soccer match between Chelsea and Manchester City. We know Chelsea is going to win, all right, but come, let's have fun. Come, let's have fun.
Papa is listening to you.
Come, let's have fun. All as part of the build-up to the
so they'll be
WFG
watching
camp.
it here.
It's going to be live, large screen, popcorn, drinks.
I don't love football, but this one,
Mommy, you have to be there. Rep your jersey and come and have fun. It's going to be here. So we'll join the service with Apostle General after we've enjoyed the service. When the service closes at 12, we gather and then we watch that game to fellowship and fraternize. Well, Mommy, questions are coming through.
Wow.
The first one says, hello, Mama Rita.
Hello.
You are a great woman by God's grace.
Amen.
I follow royal ladies everywhere, and especially this anniversary. Your life indeed is a blessing to many.
Amen.
And I'm glad we are witnessing you in this generation.
Amen.
It is coming from Kali Kanu from Sierra Leone. Kali Kanu from Sierra Leone.
God bless you, Kali. I don't want to bite my tongue. Kali or Kari?
Kali Kanu, Sierra Leone.
Kanu. God bless you for your message.
Great. This also another complimentary message. Then we go to the other. Says, God bless you, Mama Rita, and your beautiful guest. I really admire and always pray and tap into your glorious marriage.
Amen.
Keep sharing the way for us to follow.
Amen.
All right. To the first question says, my partner is a medical doctor in the Volta region, and I am a nurse working here in Accra.
My partner?
My partner.
Oh, okay. I thought I had my pastor.
No, my partner. We seem to be apart for work most of the time. We have been managing in the first 2 years of our marriage. He comes around every 2 weeks, and sometimes I go there. But after our first child, he took a shift job with another private facility, and he has started lecturing online as well. Mommy, now there seems to be absolutely no time between us. Even when he comes around, he's doing an online program. I have complained, but he says it is the only way to handle our financial stress. Meanwhile, we have always been okay, even before these jobs have been added. How can we improve this and maintain emotional intimacy? As for sex, it's almost missing now.
Wow.
My complaints now seem inconsiderate and a nagging wife.
Wow, Reverend and Reverend Mrs.
In the recent past, I've been sharing with all my counselees that I am someone who spends a lot of time at home, but I'm also a workaholic sometimes. So if I was given the chance to live my life again, the only thing I would do different is spend a lot more time at home than I did in the past. You know, for all the money that you are pursuing, it is good. You buy clothing, car, house, whatever, but you will miss your family. You will probably lose your family. When you are mature, old, and you want your children around you, because you don't have a relationship with them, they will not stick to you. So if my brother is listening to me, it is important to prioritize your partner. Put your family first. Put your wife first. Schedule some time. I mean, that one day in every 2 weeks is not too much to ask. So if you dedicate one day every 2 weeks, and we are not saying the 24 hours, that evening, no lecture, once every 2 weeks, it should be fine, because you will miss out. you may have provided all the things, but then you will have no relationship with your children, and your wife probably would have found a way of living her life without you, and there will be no relationship. So my brother, if you are listening to me, please dedicate some time for your wife, because it's so essential that you build that solid relationship. Yeah, that's what I can say.
I also think for the lady, she should watch how she's complaining. If the guy is now complaining that you're nagging, then probably you're not communicating well. Maybe you're only pointing out all the errors, but you need to sit him down and let him know how the current arrangement is affecting you emotionally. Number 2, how it's affecting the relationship. Number 3, how it's affecting the children. And if you are still not getting anywhere, then I think you need counseling. You need to seek external help.
Yeah.
That should work.
So, my darling, I hope you heard it clearly. For the man, don't wait in 10 years, 20 years time, 25 years time. You look back when you are celebrating 20 years in marriage, 25 years in marriage, and then you would have wished you had time for your wife and for your children. Yes, it is good to work, it is good to take care of your family, but I want you to know that money is not everything. Whilst you get money, please also make time for quality time, even if it's once a day in every 2 weeks. Let it be your wife. Have time for chatting, for going out, for popcorn, for ice cream, whatever. Build your relationship. I keep telling people, my darling, in Ghana, 60 years, you are back home. You're on pension. Here are you now, you're on pension. Now you want a relationship with your wife and you don't have it because you didn't build your relationship. Please build your relationship with your wife. And then to the wife, maybe approach it differently. Maybe stop over complaining. Sometimes when we talk about nagging, people don't know what nagging is. Nagging is over complaining, over talking about the same thing over and over and over again. Ask God for wisdom. How do I handle this situation? Number 2, when he comes home, is the home warm enough? Is the home interesting enough? Or when he comes home, there's nothing special. So he buries himself in his work, and then that is it. Maybe you too find out from God, find out from him, what else can I do so that my wife and my husband will have a bit of time for me. I think we'll take the last question.
Oh, all right.
Or there are a lot of questions.
Well, I think we can take one more, and then we answer the rest next week. Yeah. So please keep your questions coming through. +233 200 515253. +233 200 515253. Or use the hashtag AskMamarita, AskMamarita, and we are definitely going to pick your questions and read them out and have Mommy address them. This one says, Mommy, we are married for 12 years and blessed with 3 kids. We stay in Kaswa. My husband has been working in a mining company at Takwa. Sometimes when I call, I hear a female's voice on the background, and he will tell me it is the TV or Zoom meeting.
Oh my God. It's a test for faithfulness.
What technology can do. This one, I don't know what to say. He doesn't allow visits from me and the kids. He doesn't
allow visits
from me and the kids.
Wow.
However, he comes whenever I complain or when the kids need him. I am uncomfortable and want us to relocate to Takwa, but he says because of the kids' school. Mommy, what do I do about this?
Reverend and Reverend Mrs., are there not good schools in Takwa?
There are schools in Takwa.
Good schools, not just schools.
Good schools. Recently, I think just about a few days ago, I was having a chat with a friend who, the husband works at a place, And I asked them, have you ever been to your husband's office? They said no. And this man has been working there for over 8 years.
She's never been there.
Never been. The closest she has been is
The car park.
You know the car park, the gates of the office. Never. So I said, so you don't even have a pictorial view of how your husband's office look like? No. So you don't know anybody in the office? No. I said, why? I think we
Wow.
we take whether it's for granted or
That's right.
At least let them know. He said he is married.
Let
Nobody
them
in
know
his
he's
office
married.
know his wife. Go there. Go to his office. Even if it's once. Let them know that, oh, this is Mr. So and so's wife. He says don't come, so you two are not going. Give him a surprise visit. He's your husband. Visit him. Go to Takwa. Go and see his living condition.
right.
And the Zoom meeting.
And
The television that is on.
You are not going to say that, oh, I'm coming to see the television. Go and say, oh, I'm worried about what you eat. I'm worried about
That's
your living
right.
condition. Oh, I want to make sure that I've set everything up. Just find a good reason.
That's right.
And go and see your husband's living condition. And then if he's telling you that he's sitting, the TV is behind you, and you know that the TV is in the bedroom, it's not in the hall, and the laptop is, you at least you know
That's
what
right.
he's talking about. It takes away the room for assumption and to be like to go and see for yourself. I think you know yourself that much.
Yeah.
So one thing I love about my wife is her assertiveness. You know, because sometimes men, we are very stubborn or difficult to deal with. But she is quite assertive and persistent. She will find a way around the issue. And I commend her for that, because I know myself and I know that her assertiveness sometimes helps us overcome certain difficulties. So the recommendation she's making, I endorse it. It will help this woman to overcome the barrier of don't come to Takwa A, B, and C. No. You have to work it out together. And please add prayer. Ask God to give you wisdom. I tell you that there are issues that we have faced, and I was confused as to how to resolve it. And I went to God. And see, the Bible says that God gave people wisdom to be great craftsmen. Always we think that God gives anointing to preach and to heal the sick. But God gave people anointing to be great craftsmen. God can give you anointing to be a great wife or husband, for that matter. So ask God for wisdom to resolve the confusion that you have. And I assure you that you have that wisdom or the direction. And you will take it up and resolve the matter in your marriage.
So, my darling, we've spoken about it. Find an opportunity. Leave the children with somebody, with either your mom or somebody. Don't let him know you are coming. Don't tell him you are coming. Just get there. When you go and he's talking, don't talk. Say, I came to visit you. I came to check if everything is okay with you. That's it. If he talks, you are there. He can't do anything. One day I surprised one of our let me not even. I surprised somebody. Every time the wife says, I'm coming, don't come. The wife says, I'm coming, don't come. The wife says, I'm coming, don't come. I say, you will go. The man was in UK. I bought a ticket for the wife.
Wow.
Went with the wife. The wife was there for 6 weeks. The man never spoke to her. I said, even if he
Ekra, you have come.
even if he doesn't talk to you, you have come. So sometimes you too, you need to, like Reverend Patrick is saying, be assertive, make a move, take the initiative. Yes, he says don't come. But that's not the best for a relationship. If there's a woman in the room, go and see. When you go and there's a woman in the room, don't fight. When you go and there are women's clothes there, don't talk. Just arrange it nicely, put it one side. Don't talk. My husband, it's not like I didn't trust him in those days, but he could go for conferences. And I'll surprise him with, a surprise. By the time he realized I'm here, I'm there. When he was working with non-formal, one day I looked for the boss's number. Called the boss. Oh, I'm calling to say thank you. My husband has been saying a lot of things about you. He says you take Very good. You are so nice. Even if the man wasn't nice, from that day he would have been nice.
Yeah.
Just to say thank you. Yeah. He was so shocked.
Because we in marriage we teach that you should have common friends.
That is it.
That you don't know his
Yes.
friends in Tapa.
Yes. If anything happens, nobody will even have your number to call you.
No, you have to.
So my darling, make a move. At least go and see yourself. If it's the TV that is talking, or he's having Zoom meeting, when you go, he will get angry, don't talk. He will complain, don't talk. Maybe for the whole week or weekend that you are with him, he won't mind you, don't talk. He won't have sex with you, don't mind him. You are there. You wake up, cook. If he doesn't eat your food. My darling, sometimes these things are very, very important. Yeah. These are some of the things we'll talk about when we talk about the disadvantages of long distance relationship. Trust is very, very important.
Mommy,
you still want to do last question?
I now understand why my wife sometimes from rage will just come to Tema that she's coming to visit a customer. When I know you don't have any customer in Tema. One day she came and said, me too, I'm going to Fishing Harbor. We'll go and see that customer. Mommy, I drove her to Fishing Harbor. She went to buy fish with my money.
Anyway. These things are important. It's not like you don't trust the person. Sometimes you want to be sure that he's okay. You want to know where he works. You want to know his boss. You want to know the friends or colleagues. He hangs out. My husband was always in my office. Everybody in my office, including my boss, knew my husband. In the afternoon, by the time you realize, here he is, packed his car with food in a basket, put a napkin on it, coming to give to me. Recently, I told him I was going to Shiloh, and I think it was a Wednesday like this. And after we were done, it was so late that I decided I won't go again. So when I called him, I said, don't lock the door, I'm coming. He said, I have a guest here. I said, don't worry. Me and the guest will all sleep on the bed, and we both laughed. I mean, this is what a marriage is supposed to be.
Let's do the last Mommy, this is an SOS. The reason why I want us to take it says, Mommy, please, your guest said he was doing surprises for his partner when she was outside. My husband has been in the UK for the past 4 years. Next week is our anniversary. Can he share ideas how I can organize surprise for him? Note, he is quite introverted and doesn't have friends at all. It's just school and work. Wow. But I want to surprise him.
That's good. Who is where?
The husband is in the UK.
The husband is in the UK.
Yes. Next week is their anniversary.
Oh, okay. So you were the one who did the surprise.
Yeah. So basically, I used my network, her network, the people who were close to her and the people who were close to me, who could reach out to her on my behalf. And I had a conversation way ahead of time, and I sent the money to the people who were going to do the surprise. In this case, you say your husband is introverted. If he's working or is in school, by all means, there are one or two people whose name he has mentioned. So bring up a conversation, get to know the person, and then speak to the person privately and ask the person to do this surprise on your behalf. However, in today's modern world, there are delivery services. Yes. You could get a delivery company to do whatever you want to deliver.
Breakfast, lunch, whatever.
Exactly. You know, somebody can even call him to a restaurant, whatever, and he goes there and they surprise him with a birthday party, birthday cake, something like that. So it's quite easy in today's world. Even
his office. Yes, go ahead.
Last year when I turned 50, I was out of the country.
Yeah.
I got home and there was a package.
Wow.
For me. He had ordered something and it's been delayed, and it came on that. I was so surprised. Wow. But it's now very easy because there are a lot of online shops. Yeah. There are a lot of delivery services. Yeah. You don't need anybody. Yeah. You just do and it goes.
It will be delivered. Yeah.
And you know your husband. You know what he likes.
And you know his address.
Exactly.
Unless he gave you the wrong address. But if you've been writing letters, now it's difficult to write letters, but you should have a way. I remember one of the days, every year I'll surprise my husband. And this particular day, where was I? Either I was in South Africa or I was in the US, and he was here. And he knew that, oh, as for this year, because my wife is not around, oh, there will be no surprise. By the time he realized, in the morning, people had gathered in the house,
yeah.
singing happy birthday. He had to come down because he heard them singing the happy
song.
birthday. So my darling, you heard it very well. In today's world, you know, it's very, very easy to organize a surprise. Even if your husband is introverted, you should have a friend or two.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody that knows him. Use the person to surprise him for a small birthday party.
Yeah.
Or you could organize delivery of a parcel, of a cake, or anything. If you know his office, you know, you can organize a birthday cake, some drinks, you know, in his office. It is very, very easy to do these things in today's world, where technology is everywhere.
Or use the church if they
Or
are in
use the church. If
Yeah.
he belongs to a church, you know, you can use the church. One day, I don't know how many years ago, I think it's 2 years ago, and I wanted to surprise Minister Kwabena on his birthday. I was in America, and he was here. So I organized a meeting for the protocol
team.
members, and then I think ushers. And he knows that, oh, once is, so they told him, oh, Mama Rita has a message for protocol and then for the ushers. And then I think some royal ladies members. When he got there, it was a party, it was a surprise party, and I believe you will never forget it. So my darling, there are different ways of organizing surprise parties. It could be his work, it could be home, it could be church, it could be through some friends that you know, even if it's one
friend.
Friend of one family member, you can organize through them. If you don't know anybody, like we are saying these days, it is organized, it is easy to send delivery. I mean, very, very easy these days. You can be here and send a package from America to you, send a dress from Nigeria to you. These days, life has become so easy. So we want to hear your testimony as to what you did for your, was it birthday? Is it birthday or anniversary? So it's very, very easy. We want to hear your testimony and pictures on how you organize the wedding anniversary, 4th wedding anniversary. And maybe tomorrow, next week, you can call in, ask your husband to watch Family Life, and we can give him a shout out.
That's beautiful.
On this note, we'll be wrapping up for today. We will come your way same day, same time next week with long distance relationships. We will finish up on the advantages of long distance relationship. But because before we wrap up, I want to invite every royal lady to Kaneshi Market on Saturday. If you want to get there yourself, you know, without coming to the church, because you are coming from Doko or Makati Hill, or you live around the Kaneshi Market, you can make a date with us at 6 a.m. Otherwise, if you are driving, the best place to park your car is at FIE. You park your car here, and then together we will walk to the Kaneshi Market. We want to give back to our community. We want to do clean up. We want to introduce Christ to them, and then give them little parcels. Make a date with me coming Saturday at 5:30 a.m. And like I said at the beginning, on that same day, 9 o'clock, we are having our children's retreat from 9 a.m. till 4 a.m. If you are coming at 5:30 and you don't have anybody to bring your children, you can come with your children. There will be Sunday school teachers here to take care of your children before the retreat starts at 9 a.m. Make a date with me, both Carnation Project and the Children's Day on Saturday. I don't know if you have an last announcement.
Basically it's a reminder to register for the WMG camp, royalhousechapel.org/WMG, and book your place for the Movers and Shakers conference happening from August 29 to September 1 at the city of Shiloh. And procure your tickets for the Uncle Ebo White family play, Dubai or No Sex. Is 12 years and above. So your young kids can also be a part of it and have fun. Teams, families, churches, friends, please let us gather together at the Oil Dome, enjoy the presence and fellowship with God whilst we crack up in laughter. God richly bless you.
Reverend Patrick, you are saying that Mama Rose, well, thank you for coming again. You look very fresh. Travel just came back. We all missed you.
Thank you.
Thank you for spending your night with me.
Thank you.
I think I'm officially inviting you again for next week.
Sharp.
You are coming on the show again.
Thank you.
We finish up on the advantages of long distance relationship. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you too.
Make a date with me, same day, same time next week. We'll continue with long distance relationship. God bless you and have a good